My husband told me to expect you, so I threw on the glad rags. I used to take any excuse to socialize. Two of the best parties this backwards island has ever seen. But that coach turned into a pumpkin a long, long time ago. Now I just share this old pile with all my cats and all the ghosts. Even moved the furniture down to give them the run of the upstairs. And the view from those big windows. Oh, it was a peach of a view when I shared it with Ed. The peach trees are rotten through now. Things started changing with Ed back in that cold, cold summer of '71. Even before the ruckus with the Indians over that damned hole in the ground. Blue Ridge. Something happened up there. Started eating away at him, but he wouldn't admit to it. When he came home, if he came home at all, he shut himself in his study with all the books and maps. And he shut me out. And then there was the incident with the Indians. Ed didn't mean to kill anyone. It was self-defense, but he was tormented by it. He couldn't sleep. Suffered night terrors. He'd stay up, always scribbling in his books, on magazine covers, on the tablecloths, on the walls. I could hear this incessant scratching in the dead of night. After a while, I stopped asking him to come back to bed. I never did figure out where he kept all that writing. When his crew was found dead in the mine, it was the straw that broke the camel's neck, so to speak. I found him hanging in the attic. His face was the color of a ripe plum. But that's not how I remember him. Not how I want to remember him. He was a good man, my Ed. A good husband. A good friend. There's no shortage of secrets in this house, but Ed's lost his way. And his mind. Says he once knew how to put it all together. But he's just broken memories now. None of them good. Says the dreams came through and ate him up. And unless something is done, they'll eat us all. Says it's all in here somewhere, but he can't remember where. We get by in peace and sadness, the ghosts and I. Like in an old folks' home, I suppose. We keep each other company. The ones up in the mine, that's a different story. A real horror story. They weren't just Ed's crew. They were our friends. My soirees were the talk at Kingsmouth. A touch of New York glamour to the sticks. That's why I had the pool dug, you know. And no, I don't mean the kind of party where you leave your keys in a bowl. I know they still linger and suffer. Must be lonely under those old, cold rocks. Back in the day, when I would still leave the house, I tried to silence those voices. I called every priest, every psychic and paranormal investigator in Maine, and not one of them stayed overnight. Even the Indians and that little Ami girl offered their native mumbo-jumbo. At the time, I thought, yeah, the nerve of it, considering the part they played in the whole mess. But I suppose they were only trying to help. Sometimes, when the wind comes, I hear those boys at the mine singing. I can never quite make out the words. When Ed and I arrived over 40 years ago, this mansion was already chock full of baggage. And I mean the bad kind that people don't talk about. And heirlooms, too. Even before I realized that one had a lot to do with the other, I never threw anything out. Hadn't the heart for it. All the little things people left behind were a part of the house. Part of the haunting, too. But I don't scare easy. With 13 cats and maybe a dozen ghosts, I've only got so much attention to go around. To be honest, the cats cause me more trouble than the ghosts. Recently, I've been thinking of organizing the upstairs better. Doing up the old rooms a little for them. Let them know they're not forgotten. The ghosts, not the cats. All those empty rooms, sheets over everything. It's as if someone died. Well, Yeah. Yeah. I'd start out with that big old standing mirror in the attic, which I do believe belonged to Joanna DeVore. You know, one time, I caught a glimpse of Ed in it, like he used to be, all done up in his Sunday best. I hardly felt surprised, but like a damn fool, I blinked. And he was gone. Fancy them carrying on upstairs like that, stomping around and slamming doors. It reminds me why Ed and I agreed on no rugrats. At least not till we could move back to Long Island. What do you suppose it takes to spook a ghost? I'm not digging out that Ouija board to find out. I've already got enough sorrows to last the rest of this lifetime. I do feel a responsibility for them. They have as much claim to the house as me. Besides, if they're upset, the cats are upset, and if the cats are upset, and so on. That big storm got them in a frenzy, both the ghosts and the cats. And then again, a few nights ago, come to think of it, the night I heard an almighty commotion down the road. They wouldn't stop yelling till the next morning. When even the ghosts are spooked, it's probably not a good sign.